Conservative Media peeps, what's up? It's me, John D. Villarreal, the 4-time national champion and the MMA expert, joined by Paul F. Villarreal by phone. Okay, UFC 146 now appears that it's going to be Frank Mir versus Junior Dos Santos for the UFC Heavyweight Championship, and that means that Alistair Overeem is out. And now, we already talked about the breaking news and the quick reaction in the last video. In this video, I want to talk about, my thoughts about this fight and what do I think is going to happen. And first of all, I have to say, all my personal opinion only, all of our personal opinion only. We're not alleging facts, not casting aspersions, all for entertainment purposes only. Please check disclaimers. Look, Paul, I gotta just be straight with you and straight with the viewers out there. My personal opinion, to me, I can't even really do a great job of sitting here and trying to analyze, if you will, the pros and cons and who's going to win and why, whatever. Because to me, it's so almost, the way it really is kind of so lopsided that to me, the big question comes down to not if Junior Dos Santos is going to win, not even if he's going to get a KO or Frank Mir. It's a matter of when. And I don't even want to hear about which round, because to me it's almost like which minute or how fast in the first round is it going to happen. Because I think that's the most likely thing to happen. And I will break down the different things. And I'm not saying that Frank Mir can't win. Anything can happen in a heavyweight fight, and we know that. So I'm not trying to be all like that. But I'm saying that to me, the most likely scenario is Junior Dos Santos winning by KO, and I think it happens sooner rather than later, and I think that it's most likely going to happen in the first round. Do you agree with me, Paul?
I do, and I was looking over posts on SureDog, and people are like, Frank Mir's going to get KO'd in the first round. Somebody else saying 90% of the people think Frank Mir's going to get KO'd. Look, my thinking is this. We've seen Junior Dos Santos fight various opponents, but I'm thinking about him fighting Shane Carwin, who hits harder than Frank Mir, in my opinion, and also is a better wrestler than Frank Mir. If Shane Carwin can't get Junior Dos Santos down and keep him down or take him out with punches, I just don't know what Frank Mir is going to be able to do.
And that's it. And that's the same thing. Roy Nelson. Roy Nelson's a better wrestler than Frank Mir. And Roy Nelson couldn't take down and hold down Junior Dos Santos. That's the bottom line. When you look at this, you say, okay, stand up. Who's got the better stand up? No question, Junior Dos Santos. Who's got the faster hands? No question, Junior Dos Santos, in my opinion. Who hits harder? No question, Junior Dos Santos, in my opinion. Who's got the better chin? Junior Dos Santos, in my opinion. Okay, then we say, okay, well, let's look at other stuff like that. Who's in better condition? Junior Dos Santos, in my personal opinion. Okay, then we look at the wrestling. Frank Mir may have a ground game and a BJJ expert and everything. That's great, okay? Guess what? You have to get someone to the ground. And I have seen no evidence that Frank Mir's wrestling is really that great. How does Frank Mir get Junior Dos Santos down to the ground? I don't think Frank Mir has the wrestling to get Junior Dos Santos down to the ground. So if you can't get Junior Dos Santos down to the ground, what game do you have left, Frank Mir? I mean, and we've seen Frank Mir get rocked by Shane Carwin and taken out. We've seen Frank Mir get rocked and taken out by Brock Lesnar. So I just don't, and isn't, maybe I'm forgetting this, but doesn't Junior Dos Santos also have some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu background as well?
I think that he does. And look, everybody knows, people respect Frank Mir's ability to get submissions and all, but as you said, unless he does Fabricio Verdum against Overeem the last time, where he just kind of flops on his back, I don't know how it's going to happen.
Right, and the thing of it is people want to talk about, oh, Frank Mir's been on a win streak. To me, the fight that he had against, let's say, Crow Cop, that was, in my personal opinion, an extremely boring fight. Frank Mir, to me, looked tired. He looked like he was just too heavy. And okay, yeah, you won against Crow Cop. I mean, but it's like, I don't think you can fight the way that Frank Mir fought against Crow Cop, against Dos Santos, and think you're going to get a victory in that situation. So I think, to me, I look at this situation and I say, look at what happened against Cain Velasquez. Cain Velasquez did not get Junior Dos Santos down. Cain Velasquez got KO'd, in my personal opinion, in that fight. And I just feel like, Frank Mir, to me, the bottom line again is, I think they should rename UFC 146 into guess how fast Frank Mir is going to get KO'd. Okay, that's really where I'm at on that. And I'm not trying to be a punk, but that's why I didn't want to see this fight from a competitive standpoint, because I don't feel, in my personal opinion, that it's that competitive. And again, yes, anything can happen. If there is a scramble and Frank Mir is able to throw a submission on, then yeah, he can win. But if Frank Mir doesn't get a submission attempt, how likely is it that Frank Mir is going to win? I feel like, in my personal opinion, there were much more competitive fights that the UFC could have put together. But, who knows? Maybe they have these other things and they wanted to get these other things done. Maybe, Frank Mir was obviously training for that same date, and maybe that just is what worked out. But, what does it say about Cain Velasquez? We might do another video on that. So, I don't know. What do you fans think? Do you feel like I'm being a little too harsh on Frank Mir, or do you agree with me? How do you think this fight's going to go? Do you feel like Junior Dos Santos is going to win? That's number one. Number two, how do you think Junior Dos Santos is going to win if you do think it's going to win? Do you think it's going to be by KO? If so, then number three, how fast do you think Junior Dos Santos is going to get the KO? Number four, do you feel that what do you feel like Frank Mir's chances are? Okay, and if you feel like he can win, how do you think that's going to win? Do you think that Frank Mir is going to have to get a submission and sort of be able to put that together? Or do you feel like Frank Mir could maybe win through points or something like that? I want to know from you what you think. Look, I think that obviously Frank Mir can win. It's a heavyweight fight. Anything can happen. In my personal opinion, in order for Frank Mir to win, he really needs to probably put together a submission type of win. I don't feel like he's going to wear out Junior Dos Santos. I don't feel like he can win a striking battle with Junior Dos Santos. Yes, of course, there's a percentage chance that those things can happen. But, if I had to think in my mind, I don't want to put a percentage on it. I mean, you have to see different things. I think that the overwhelming likelihood is that Junior Dos Santos wins, and I think that he'll win by KO. Paul, what's your take on that?
I agree with you. I think the extremely overwhelming thing, I'm talking 95% or more, is that Junior Dos Santos is going to win and will likely win by KO. One thing we know about Frank Mir is he likes to box. I mean, he does like to sit there and trade a little bit.
Right.
He isn't necessarily just going to come in shooting single leg, double legs, and he trusts his boxing. He is a big guy, and we saw, Cain made that mistake with Junior Dos Santos, and look, Frank Mir's not dumb. He's going to see that. He's going to try to go off with it, but that's how he fights. That's the way he fights. He's not a guy, again, coming in just shooting the legs. So, I think that's probably what's going to happen, is something along those lines.
Yeah, and I don't feel like, in my personal opinion, that Frank Mir moves that well, quite frankly. So I feel like he's a pretty big target of opportunity for Junior Dos Santos. And if someone were to ask me what's the most likely outcome of this fight, it's a first-round knockout for Junior Dos Santos. And I would be, I don't know. I mean, it could happen at any time within the first round, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's sooner rather than later. What do you think about that? You tell us what's going on. Give me the comments below. Please subscribe above. I'm John D. Villarreal, the 4-time national champion and the MMA expert. That is Paul Villarreal, joining by phone. We are Conservative Media. Please rate this video up. Also, please post it to your social networking site. Stay tuned for our next video where we ask the question, what happens now with Alistair Overeem? Stay tuned for that. We'll see you next time.